Hello and welcome to session 4. Today's Thursday, and we have one more tomorrow. It's again so fast, it just goes so fast. Before this live session, I showed a little excerpt of music for piano and violin. And so when you're watching this as a replay, in the email that goes out, there will be a link if you want to listen to this mini concert that I did with my friend Leonardo, the violinist, about a month ago. So you can listen to all of it. First of all, I'm going to start by correcting myself because I made a mistake yesterday. I hope you know that I'm not perfect, okay? So I have to know when to admit that you're humble. That's the word that I've been wanting to find. Just have to be, learn to be humble, because the more you know, the more you know that you don't know anything. So, but the main thing is always to accept when you make a mistake, or when you don't know something, to know where to find it. So yesterday I made a mistake when I talked about oatmeal. Actually, something didn't ring right to me, but it was kind of a last minute thing that I did before I started the webinar. So the number that I gave you for calorie density for oats, that was the calorie density for uncooked oats. That's why it was so high. Actually, when you add water, and that is the magic of calorie density, is water, density goes down. Guess what? Yeah. So the calorie density of cooked oats is actually in the 300, 310, or somewhere in there, depending on what kind of oats you get and how much water you use, etc. But it's about 300. Okay, so I wanted to make that correction. I also put a note in the video on YouTube. And also, I'm going to thank you for your feedback. I'm going to get some headphones in the near future. So hopefully, according to one of you, if I wear headphones, you will not listen to background noise. So there are things that I don't know about technology, many of them. So hopefully that will help. Okay, another announcement is that next Friday, not tomorrow, the fourth Friday of each month, I have the privilege of being a guest in Chef AJ's weekly shows. So next Friday is the fourth Friday of the month, and I will be a guest, and I'm going to be making something really good. And the show always has an easy recipe and music also. So that's next Friday. And all you have to do is go to Chef AJ's YouTube channel. And I'm gonna have to check the time. I don't know, I don't remember if it's 1 p.m. Pacific, but I'll send you the time. And also, the registration for the National Health Association is open. That happens in June, but this year they're also doing the virtual for those of you who cannot be there in person. And it is an absolutely amazing lineup of speakers. So you can start signing up for the virtual conference. I will, let's see if I have it here. I will put the link. It's kind of a long link, but I'm going to put it here. And yes, if you decide to purchase this, I will get a little bit of a percentage to me, and it always helps. at least, you know what, at least later on, take a look at it, just so that you see what topics are going to be covered and who is going to be talking. It's interesting to just see that, even if you don't attend it. And also, my 7-day Detox and Reset program is starting May 7th. Many of you have already signed up, and thank you. I really look forward to this every other month. And this one is going to have some new things, and we're really going to enjoy. We've enjoyed every single one of them. Everything that I do, well, not the 7-day program, but everything that I do that is free, like this, or cooking demos and other interviews, goes on my YouTube channel. So make sure that you do subscribe. It also helps me to grow my channel, and click on the little notification bell. And my YouTube channel is under my name, Gustavo Tolosa. I also showed you the other day, if you go to my website, you can sign up for my email list, and that I have a Facebook page called Dr. Starch, or spelled out. So you can stay connected even after we finish this. Let me show you what I did today for lunch, because I like for you to know that I am just I'm just a real everyday person, and I make things. I just want you to see what I make every day. Or okay, let's see. Let me share my screen. And okay, so this is day 4, and today I had 2 eggplants, and I had 3 sweet potatoes, and I put them in the oven, and it was like 11 a.m. or so, and at 400 degrees, and I just let them cook until they were soft. Okay. And it was probably a good hour. It all depends on the size. You can see that these eggplants are not very big, so, and the sweet potatoes are regular size. So it depends. You just have to, the eggplant has to be very soft if you want to do what I'm going to tell you that I did. So, and this is, this came out really, really good. This time it wasn't kale. This time it was Swiss chard. Okay, so so it was. I started as I usually start, with a really large onion chopped and 4 garlic cloves. I saute the onion first. And then I added the garlic, and then I added the Swiss chard, then I added some turmeric, and I think it was Mrs. Dash, one of those mix that have different spices, and it was simple. This time I didn't have mushrooms, so you can see that it doesn't have mushrooms. And so what I did was, I opened the sweet potato, and inside of it, I mashed the eggplant. I also put some spices on the eggplant, like garlic, onion powder, and a little bit of smoked paprika, and I don't know, other things. You put whatever you like. Oh, it was, yeah, I'm trying to think what it was, but maybe it was also another type of Mrs. Dash, the one that is Southwest or something like that. And so I put that in the on top of. I opened the sweet potato. I put that, and then I ate this on the side, and then I got another sweet potato, and I put this mixture inside the sweet potato, and I ate the eggplant mash on the side, and I was pretty full. I almost couldn't finish, so but I think I left a little bit. That was a very, very filling lunch. I cannot tell you how filling and satisfying sweet potatoes are. Okay, and tonight, after we end this, if you go to my YouTube channel, you're going to see my hummus video. It's not available yet, but when we finish this, if you wait about 5 minutes, you'll be able to go to my YouTube channel and see my creamy hummus that I make either plain or like this one. I added a jar of roasted red bell peppers, and if you want something a little more, you know, how could we say? Yeah, just more, it's going to be more calorically dense, but you can add a few black olives. That's another type of hummus. Okay, so now let me pose this idea here and have you think about this tonight and maybe tomorrow. Think about this. Research is actually now, it's a known fact now that human beings eat, well, anywhere from 3 to 5 actually pounds a week. Most people don't eat 5 pounds of food a day, not a week, I'm sorry. 3 to 4 pounds of food per day. That is something that has been studied several times, and we can pretty much affirm that that is the case with most of us. Most of us, at the end of the day, will have eaten 3 to 4 pounds of food. Now, the interesting thing that maybe you haven't thought about, or maybe you have, is that what kind of food is this 3 or 4 pounds? You know that most of the world is eating high fat, high calorie food. So 3 or 4 pounds, when you're eating an average of 1,000, or 800 calories, or 800 to 1,000 calories a pound, if you eat 3 pounds, that's 3,000 or 4,000 calories a day. So of course it's easy to be overweight or obese. But what would happen if let me move this here so I can read this. What if those 3 to 4 pounds of food were all, oops, I can see now that I typed all twice, below 400 calories per pound. And if all of it was whole food, plant-based with no added fat, salt, or sugar, what would happen if that was the average? Well, the most you would eat during the day would be 1,600 calories, which is not much. So what would happen if it was somewhere here? What would happen if those 3 pounds, if it would be a pound of non-starchy vegetable? Look at that. 1 pound of non-starchy vegetables is only 100 calories. Of course, if we only ate non-starchy vegetables, we would starve at the end of the day, and it wouldn't work. It would not be a sustainable way of eating. So what would happen if we ate mostly potatoes, which is 300, 350 calories, and some fruit? What would happen if you ate 1.5 pounds of the starches and 1 pound of non-starchy and 0.5 pound of fruit? Well, that would be according to math, you would have to lose weight. Okay, that's how it would turn out. So I don't know if it is an interesting way to look at things. Okay, and that is the goal of the 7-day program, so that during 7 days we eat to the left of the red line, and it is all unprocessed with all the fiber and all the water. And So I just wanted to give you this as food for thought. Okay. Okay, let's see here what we have. Gustavo, just wondering if you have added sweet potato to hummus. Other times I have, and not that one that you saw in the picture. But yeah, sweet potato hummus is great. I have added basil. I have added, I've done quite a few different types of hummus. And so hummus is just great because you can use it as a mayonnaise substitute. You can use it as a dip. You can use it as salad dressing if you add lemon juice or vinegar or other things like that. So hummus is great. The chard, unfortunately, it wasn't from my garden, but I am growing chard. So I've become very interested in the last year or so in gardening, and I get a lot of pleasure from doing that. Just seeing, it's just miracle, to see how water and dirt and sunlight creates these beautiful plants, and all that energy that these plants get from the sunlight and the water and the soil is it's stored in the plant's bulbs or in the plant's leaves, and then we eat them. So I just love it. So soon I'm going to have some chard from my own yard. Okay, about how much time do you spend cooking, preparing for? Well, nowadays I don't spend a lot of time because I am a workaholic. Okay, so there, I admit it. So I always say yes to too many things. I don't have a lot of time, and I don't spend a lot of time cooking. I would like to, and but right now, during the pandemic, that was good though. I had a lot of time to cook, and I enjoyed it. So that was one positive thing, I guess, I could take from that time. What could I say? Well, during the day, I probably spend an hour preparing these simple meals. And like I told you all, I always make more than I think I'm going to eat, so I have leftovers. So for example, yesterday I didn't really cook because I had leftovers. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about inflammation, and one of you asked about anti-inflammatory foods. I know that if we eat this way, whole food, plant-based, non-processed foods, and you eat a variety of vegetables and fruits, your inflammation level will go down. You don't have to be searching for this particular fruit grown in the southeast of Africa and this little berry from Greece, Although it's fun, if you like to do that's fine. I don't have like amla berry and things like that, and I have done that, but these are the things I just concentrate on, things that I can find easily, and from time to time, if I find something that is a little more eccentric, I get it, I buy it. But tomatoes and artichokes are known to be good anti-inflammatories. And then, like I mentioned yesterday, everything that is green leafy vegetables, the darker the vegetable is, the better. Okay, so green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale, chard, collard greens, fruits, all of the berries are anti-inflammatory, and so strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, the red raspberries, cranberries, cherries, prunes, also oranges. Nuts like almonds and walnuts are anti-inflammatory. It's just that some of you need to be careful, because if this is one of those things that you cannot control your portions, then you want to maybe not indulge in them. There are many other things that are anti-inflammatory. So if you don't ever touch an almond or a walnut or any kind of nut in your life, it's going to be okay. There are some herbs and spices that are anti-inflammatory. Of course, you know about turmeric because you see me using it all the time, but also cloves are quite up there when we talk about anti-inflammatory spices and herbs. Cloves, oregano is one of my favorite herbs. I have some in my yard, but I also have some that I've bought. Rosemary, I like rosemary tea, but I also use it for other things, like when I roast potatoes and I make rosemary potatoes. Peppermint is also thyme, cinnamon, parsley is very good, and nutmeg. So those things are anti-inflammatory. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about how to stay motivated and how to stay compliant. I've been at this for 10 years now, so I have some, I think, I have gathered some experience and information, and that has helped me. So for me, not long ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I started changing a little bit my approach, and just be a little more, just relax, okay? Just cool, just relax a little, enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. To me, it's like giving a recital, a concert. I love getting on stage and sharing the music with people, but it's like preparing this very complicated and beautiful meal that takes you all day to make, and then in half an hour it's gone. Okay, so when I do a concert, it's months of preparation and practice, and that's what I enjoy a lot. The concert goes like that in an hour. So same thing here. Enjoy the process, enjoy the journey. More than that, even learn. Keep a little diary. Learn from both things. Learn from mistakes or negative feedback, whatever you want to call it, things that didn't work. And also learn from successes. Learn from both. But it takes time. There is no switch. And I think a lot of other programs and a lot of YouTubers and things like that, they sometimes it's a little deceiving, because it seems that they have the answer for everybody in the world, and we're all different. I don't think there is a one size fit all. Of course, there are things that are true and that we've been talking about during these 4 days. But always learn. Be an avid learner. Be an avid learner from your own, from what you see in others, from books, from videos, from conferences. For example, this conference that is going to happen in June, I know I have probably heard every single word that is going to be from most of it, but still I like to attend conferences because we need to hear things over and over and over again. What other things will keep you motivated or inspired or compliant? Well, why don't you spice up life a little bit? Like bring surprises and go to the supermarket and look for things, spices or vegetables or grains or things that you haven't tried, things that have a name that maybe you can't even pronounce. Okay, come home with at least one new thing that you've never cooked, a surprise. Okay, um, maybe also set up some kind of a reward system. Tell yourself, okay, I did this. For me, when I lost 50 pounds, I was going to, that day, I was going to get on the internet and buy my ticket to Paris. Okay, that was my dream. Well, that was a big one, but it could be something small. It could be that you've seen this T-shirt or this pair of pants, and so now, or a book, or maybe, I mean, whatever it be, it could be something that it doesn't cost anything, an activity. Set up some points at which you will reward yourself. Um, get a new book, or maybe sign up for a guided program of some sort. Anyway, so that you always have something to look forward to. I think that keeping a food diary adds an activity, especially at night. If you're one of those, I have some nights, and not every night, but some nights when I want to go out and eat everything there is in a restaurant. Okay, so, or I want to eat late. Okay, so having an activity like writing down, writing in a food, diary, not only the food that you eat, but how the day went and how you felt when you ate this or that, or any thoughts will have, you will start making new habits that will build and will help you. What else helps me? Well, one of the webinars that I did not long ago, maybe 3 months ago, I interviewed Dr. Goldhammer, and at one point in the interview, he mentioned how, there are some foods that if you were able to do portion control, he wouldn't be against it. I can actually, I think that is on my YouTube channel. I mean, I know it is. I don't know if it is on private because it was for a private group, or if it is for everyone, but I'm going to send you all the link so you can hear him say it. So for example, we know that Dr. Goldhammer loves cashews, and he knows that if he had a bag of cashews or a bowl of cashews in front of him in the office, it would be very hard to stop eating. So he has rationed them in 1 ounce bags in the freezer. And he made this deal with himself that he will have 1 ounce every day. And if he ever touches more than that, they're gone forever. So I have tried this with bread because that is pretty much my addiction. Okay, and it doesn't have to be fancy. I don't care for fancy cakes or pastries or things. It could be just plain, the most plain bread possible. That is fine with me. So I have bought other times a loaf of bread that was whole wheat, real whole wheat, that had no salt and no oil or butter or anything like that. So it was the flour, and it was the water and the yeast, and it was sliced. And I made the deal that I would eat, that bread had to last me a month. And it was frozen. So usually if I want bread, it's in the morning for breakfast. So it actually worked. It worked because I didn't want to stop eating bread for the rest of my life. So I was careful to not, if the bread was gone in 3 weeks, I couldn't buy another one until the month was over. And even then, in the morning, the way it was toasted, and I piled up tomatoes and cucumbers, and sometimes that green mixture that you saw. So it was a thin slice of bread toasted with this much vegetables on top. So basically what I want to tell you is that if you have something like that, or maybe whole wheat pasta that you do have every now and then, dilute the calories with as many non-starchy vegetables as possible, and do the best to do portion control. It isn't really fun to do portion control. So if you find yourself that you can't do it, then it is better to totally eliminate it from your diet than trying to reintroduce it and fighting those feelings over and over again. Let's see. Sometimes, because we've seen this in the 10-day program, many of you have told me how something that you thought it was going to be difficult to give up, when you tried to give it up for 7 days during the program, all of a sudden you realize that, hey, it's not as hard as I thought it was. I think I can do this for another week. And so you do it for another week. And then, of course, it becomes easier. And then you tell yourself, well, I've done it for 2 weeks. I'll do it for 1 more week. You do it for 3 weeks. Well, by the time you're done with 3 weeks, you have established a new habit. So you're more likely to continue with that. Okay, so that is all that I had in mind for today. And I want to first of all see if I can answer any of your questions here that you typed, and if not, feel free to unmute and comment, ask anything. I think I am impatient because I have been messing with this since 2014. I want it to happen. Yeah. Well, one thing is when you get to that point where you get determined. I also had been messing with it for years before I found Dr. McDougall. And by the time I saw the movie Forks Over Knives, and I saw what was possible, I was determined. And sometimes it takes a while to get to that point. But the main thing is to not give up and to not beat ourselves up when we fall off the wagon. And like I always say in our program, we're only one bite away or one meal away from getting back on. And so we just do that. I think it works pretty well. I bought porcini mushrooms to put into savory oats tomorrow. Never had them. Oh, well, Julie, great. I would love for you to email me. You were or are in my program, so please email me and let me know how you like them, because I've never tried those. I bought daikon Japanese radish as a new food for my gut biome. Whilst it doesn't taste as nice as a strawberry, I found it interesting to look up the health benefits. High in vitamin C and folate. It also looked very decorative, thinly sliced on top of salad. Okay, well, I have not eaten that either. Okay. All right. Anything else? Anybody? No? Okay. Any frustrations like with friends or family members that maybe it's okay if they're not, if they don't eat like you, but maybe they're nagging or they're trying to sabotage. I mean, does that happen to any of you? Okay, I see Julie with your microphone on.
It's really strange too because mine is that I really messed up when I went to the Thanksgiving because the two ladies who are these like goddesses of being able to make these full meals and they hold these potlucks, but both of them use oil. I now have diverticulitis because I took some of their food home, so I ate oil every day for like 4 days
Oh,
in a row. And my stomach has been hurting ever since then. I actually, for 2 days, I had to lay down because like I was getting an infection. And it's all, so it's like, I have to tell myself, just because these two skinny ladies think oil is okay, and I look up to them because they can make everything. It's incredible. They make chia pudding and dehydrated crackers and just like all this stuff, but it's like, that's not my food. And so my lesson is I can't just be blindly thinking everybody is like, I don't know, has the answer for me. So it's been a real painful thing that I did.
yeah, finding, you said a key word, and finding your own, what works for you, what works for me, what works for whoever. It sometimes is rewarding and sometimes is painful because I have in my 10 years eaten things that were not compliant. And the longer you go without eating oil or cheese or, any animal product, the longer you go, if you ever introduce that, your body will react quite strongly.
Oh, is
And
this the McDougal's revenge?
that's the McDougall revenge. Yeah.
Oh, so now I have experienced it. I never want to experience it again.
You don't want to experience that. Yeah. It's not
I
fun.
have I have such a hard time with the snacking at night. I like, for instance, tonight I have my nephew and my daughter and we're watching television. And so they're eating snack food and I want to eat it too, popcorn and that kind of thing. And so I tell myself, "Oh, you can have one little bowl of popcorn." And so I'll eat a great big bowl of popcorn and then I'll want more and more and more. And this is a problem for me. I can't isolate myself from everybody, just to stay compliant. And I don't know what to do. How can I stay on the plan and be happy?
Yes, yes. Well, remember, I think we talked about this in one of the sessions of our 7-day program. You might, if you know ahead of time that you're gonna do a movie night or something like that, make the healthy popcorn that we talked about. What that is chickpeas that you put some really yummy spices on them and you bake them so that to me now, maybe now because I'm used to it, to me those taste way better than any popcorn. Of course I have to be careful because as you saw, chickpeas are about 700 calories per pound, so it's quite a high caloric food, but still it gives me something healthy that I could eat in a situation like you. It could be also that I put I love to put broccoli and cauliflower in the oven because they do get crispy And I usually do a light steaming so that they're wet, and any spices that I put on it, it will stick. Then it goes in the oven. And to me, that is, I mean, I already get, my mouth is watering, okay? It's just delicious. So you can have, but it does take some preparation, because if you don't prepare, like you say, it catches you by surprise, and it's difficult. Well, okay. Let's see. That someone wrote here, that was a game changer for me, Nancy. I just love my steamed broccoli and cruciferous crunch steamed in the morning. Okay, yeah. If you live by a Trader Joe's, they do sell this bag that is called cruciferous crunch, and it's a great steamed, and it's also great in a salad. But you don't have to buy, even if you live by a Trader Joe's, you can just combine those 4 or 5 things that you have in that bag. I cannot tell you exactly. I know it's kale and purple. Brussels sprouts also. There's some cabbage. Anyway, you can just type in the internet cruciferous crunch and you'll get the mix. You can make your own mix. All right, well, this was another great session with your comments here. I hope that this will help. And if you want me to talk about any other specific things, send me an email. And tomorrow, Friday, for our last session, I'm going to talk about 3 things that will propel you forward in your health goals, and also finding your optimal weight. And I'll share what I do at least once a month to also help me. But I'll give you a little preview. Maybe you want to try focusing on health and not being so uptight and stressed out about weight, and see how that works for you. Because I know that for some people, when they get off that scale and then they get, they let themselves rest a little bit from the stress of losing weight and just focusing on eating a whole food, plant-based diet that is not processed, that has the fiber and the water intact, and just being healthy and feeling great, maybe getting off some medications or together with your doctor, obviously. Then all of a sudden, magically, you start losing weight, and it was just because you switched your thinking. So maybe that's another strategy that could help. But I'll share more tomorrow. So thank you again for logging in, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day, wherever you are.
Thank you, Gustavo.
Thank you all. I will be sending the replay with some other links and goodies there. All right.